2, 3, 4. Let me take a look at what do you got? I pull into the speculation station a lot. Speculation station.
Welcome everybody to the Speculation Station podcast. I'm Will.
I'm Tom. Welcome!
And this is a podcast where one of us brings in a mystery object every week. What will it be? This week, it's me. I'm the interrogator, so I've got the object, and Tom here will...
I am speculating, so I'm coming up with ideas and generally talking bullshit until we end up with a story.
And that's the main thing. We're trying to make a story here. Not the world's greatest story, just a story.
But it's going to be pretty good, and you're going to want to, give us a $20 billion deal for the movie contract.
And all the character names will be just the most amazing you've ever heard.
Yeah, you won't even believe how good it's going to be.
So, without any further ado, other than me saying...
Any further ado, which is bizarre.
Right.
I'm ready. I'm closing my eyes.
Close your eyes, please, indeed. Okay.
Do you want me to present my hands? 1, 2, 7?
Yeah, I want you to present both hands separately, a bit further apart. That's it, thank you. One there.
Oh no.
And one there.
I mean, 2 objects is kind of cheating.
What could it be? You can put them down on the table and give them a feel if you want, with your eyes closed.
I mean, it feels like boxing gloves.
Okay, open your eyes. And they are not exactly boxing gloves.
I'm guessing Muay Thai.
They're my Muay Thai gloves, indeed.
They look like boxing gloves.
There's very little difference, yeah. It's just kind of the weight.
Are they covered with the blood of your enemies?
Oh, you better believe it. That's why they're totally clean. Either I have no enemies or I don't fight very well. They should fit your hands pretty well, I guess. Very similar to mine.
I mean, they feel like...
You can just shove the other one in if you want.
There you go. Oh.
Do you feel like you could fight someone now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've got some large... it doesn't feel like I could fight. Do you know what it feels like?
Right.
Just feels like I've got, large foam sort of, lumps on the ends of my hands.
I mean, in a way, that's what you do have right now.
Why are they so padded,
Well, to stop... Well...
Stop you hurting people.
No, stop you hurting yourself. Stop you breaking your knuckles. We don't care about other people's faces, we care about our own knuckles, really, in the fight game.
Right, and so what happened to wrapping your fists in string and glass?
Well, I do. I wrap my hands first, and then I put those hands in the glove.
So what does that do?
It keeps your wrists safe, your knuckles safe again, keeps all the joints secure, and they fit better into the glove.
Do you know what? This makes me think of Rocky.
Well, that's an interesting start.
Right.
And from there, we could go sports underdog story.
A sports underdog
fight story.
Okay, I can dig a sports underdog story.
Yeah, it's a popular trope, right? / genre.
Okay, but what kind of sport? Maybe I don't mind a fighting sport, or is it a completely unique sport we're doing here?
Well, we could go fighting sports. We could try and create a new fighting sport, right, or a new fighting style.
Okay,
or choose one of the existing ones and make a sports story from that.
Yeah, but it's something that's slightly unusual.
Okay, I like that. So an unusual fighting sport underdog story.
Not something useless like Aikido or something like that.
No, sure. Well, no, the fight, the martial art itself doesn't have to be unusual, but the way we do it could be unusual. The way that someone comes into it, or the way they use the martial art.
Oh, unless it's just something like, Krav Maga, sort of competition.
I like that, yeah, because
right.
that's different. You don't really get Krav Maga as a traditional martial art, let's say.
Well, certainly not as a sport. I don't.
Yeah, so someone who's trying to enter the world's first Krav Maga tournament, right?
Except it's to the death.
Oh, excellent. Okay,
right.
Okay, I'm going to start writing some of these ideas down. So it's a classic sports underdog movie.
Hi-ya! 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 Hi-ya!
Fun wearing those on your fists.
What are the noises they're making Krav Maga?
Probably the sound of bones breaking and sinews snapping. Well, because Krav Maga is more about the practicality of ruining someone, it's less about making traditional noises and stances. It's everything that just works.
It's more like traditional jiu-jitsu then. It's less about
It's about anything you can do to defeat
exactly
your opponent,
in the right
right?
situation to win. Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So it's a new to the death. Wish I could write first.
It's like this, isn't it, with Muay Thai?
Yeah, hands up above the head. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you can comb the hair to protect yourself against strikes to the side of the head. Not literally.
Can I brush my hair with it?
Yes. I want you to wear these for the entire podcast.
Because it's gonna make writing things down challenging, but I take that as your primary job at the moment. Anyway, so I like this sporting story. I like the fact it's to the death. So is it an illegal contest, or is it just something completely new that comes to the world?
Completely new, yes.
Why? Why is it brought to the world? So this is the first ever to the death Krav Maga based fighting contest.
Unless
it's just all sport.
Well, we could go to there.
So
if
it's
we
more like
wanted,
Soul
but for
Calibur
now,
with weapons as well.
How would it come about? I'm thinking that
Yeah.
the world is in a time of turmoil like it is now, right? And there's lots of killing and terrorism and war and stuff. So how do we... I guess it's almost like the Purge, but without being so
Yes.
shit.
Yes.
You know?
A non-shit purge, guys. You hear that?
Right? So people can vent their frustration like in the gladiatorial times of Rome.
That's what I'm feeling. Is it's
Watch
quite
these
gladiatorial.
blood sports, right?
Yeah. So maybe the excuse is sort of like because the world is overpopulated, we need to get rid of.
I don't think you're going to get rid of the population by forcing
No,
them
you're
into
not.
Krav Maga
That's their
tournaments
rubbish.
to the death.
That's their rubbish excuse.
I think it's more like gladiators. It's just this is
Okay, but
people,
why has it happened in the modern world? Or in
That's what I'm saying. People need to-
let's say near future.
people need to vent their bloodlust, and that's what
because of social media.
Let's say that. Yeah, social media has forced into such a full sense of reality that we bring it back down to the most.
So anyone you argue with online, you have to go fight to the death.
I like that. So it's trying to curtail the idea of people just willy-nilly getting into arguments and social scrapes with each other.
Yeah. So, gosh, the algorithm to pick out who gets picked is going to be brutal. I wasn't actually insulting them, but the algorithm says you were.
Yes, I like that.
Into the ring.
Into the to the death Krav Maga ring.
Yes.
Okay. Let's get a protagonist.
And I want to bring it first. Let's consider before then. What's the competition called?
Good question. It's the first of its kind.
Yeah, it's kind of, and it's there to make the human species better.
Yeah, but are we? Are the people who have named it? Are they trying to slightly obfuscate the fact that it is a to the death blood sport? Are they trying to make it sound a bit classier than that?
Yeah, I think they probably are.
The lethal fighting championship. The LFC.
The lethal fighting championship.
What's a more polite word for lethal or fatal?
Yeah.
Terminal.
The terminal
fighting championship, yeah.
Or I think it's got to be... I almost wanted to have a name that's more akin to the Olympics as well, or something, or Wimbledon, something that's a bit unique to the name.
Yeah.
So where is it done? Maybe is it done in Jerusalem?
The home of Krav Maga.
Exactly,
yeah,
why not?
Gotcha. Yeah,
And it's the home of conflict in the world.
It is one of the.
And maybe it's the
homes.
home of the new peace, right?
Exactly. So it originates from there. I like that. So the international Jerusalem fighting tournament.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No hint of death in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think international Jerusalem is a good rolling off the tongue term. No.
How about just get rid of international and just say the Jerusalem Brawl?
Jerusalem Brawl, I love it. That's kind of kooky.
Okay, so that's and we call this, and this is 2025. Okay,
the far future.
Well, I wanted near future, not far future. Unless you want to go further into future and make it 2050 or something.
No, I like near future. It's easy to do.
2031 then.
2031, the Jerusalem Brawl.
First Jerusalem Brawl. This is the first ever one. Yeah.
20. Did you say 2020? No, 2031.
2031. Yeah.
11 years hence.
Shit.
No.
What will
12
happen?
years hence.
Will Brexit happen first? Okay.
you guys heard of Brexit, podcast listeners? You might not have heard of this little Brexit thing.
I wouldn't know what that was.
Okay. So we've got the tournament, the place,
Yes.
the reason. Now we need some characters to populate our amazing
Okay, so
story.
we need a main character. So
Man or
I've
woman?
got an immediate problem with this contest, by the way.
Yeah.
Because really big, strong people are just going to go out and aggro random people online so they can get into the.
No, if you're
It has to be fit. They can put up a champion.
if
right?
you're a registered professional fighter, then you can only fight in promoted bouts, let's say,
Or-
arranged promotions.
Or as I would say, anyone can put up a champion against you of any kind. And
exactly.
so
another
if you're a
champion.
professional fighter, you can only be somebody else's champion.
That's it. Yeah, someone else's, another champion's opponent.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Ordinary people go through the algorithm.
they have to go in for the what do you call it? The qualifiers.
So, in which case,
I assume it's split into men and women. Otherwise, it
sure.
ludicrously unfair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, is our protagonist an amateur? Not even an amateur. Someone who's been thrown in by the algorithm.
I think it should be somebody thrown in by the algorithm.
Okay, and who's there?
Who has to go through a fighting montage, right? To learn how to fight.
Learning fucking lethal
So
fighting.
let's say you get like a 6-month training period.
Okay.
So you got a decent training period to get ready. Maybe less. Let's make it hardcore, like 3 months.
Yes, if that's 2 months. 2 months.
That's
flat.
ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 months up. So who is our protagonist and what's wrong in their life? So maybe they're an internet troll of some kind.
So then make me not entirely likable, which is always interesting for a main character.
And then they become likable as the story
Yeah,
goes
because they
on.
have to learn that their actions have consequences. In
So
the most
yeah, maybe
hideous
they're
way.
like a Reddit Reddit troll.
Yes.
Right, or
4chan,
4chan, or
yeah.
8chan. I think there's something called 8chan.
There is
these days.
8chan as well. Who is this hacker 4chan?
Yeah.
When will they strike next?
So yes, we got a troll. A troll, not necessarily the worst. Like hasn't done any, not an actual
it's more
incel.
yeah.
Not at that level. Okay.
No neckbeards here.
Yeah.
Just someone who takes pleasure in putting other people down online.
Yeah, and what's this person's day-to-day job? I feel like it should be an office job or something like that.
What does the future of 2031 hold for an average worker?
Call center.
No, I was going to say maybe
A bit more, yes, but like early 2000s, isn't it? Call center.
Maybe drone checker. You kind of watch a bank of screens where all these drones.
Or like a Deliveroo cyclist.
No. You're just looking for problems. Like a drone X1 has, got a propeller malfunction,
And so, like receiving calls basically in the IT center.
yeah, and then you put it on to somebody else.
Who actually deals with it, and you assign them their job.
Okay.
Okay, so it's basically a desk flunky.
Yes.
Well-meaning, but he's not.
Drone monkey.
But so basically, he's got lots of time where he's just sitting around at his desk, right, waiting for stuff to happen.
Yes, and they can just be
so
online.
he's just trolling like crazy
Okay.
online, yeah.
So let's call them a desk-bound drone monkey.
Okay, so where are they from? Which country? That's a good starting place.
So if they're going to end up in Jerusalem, I'd say Jerusalem needs to be different, alien and exotic to them, so it needs to be somewhere
Oh, of
totally
course,
not
yeah.
from the Middle East. Australia.
Okay, I like Australia.
Yeah, they have pretty tight internet censorship laws as well, anyway. as
Right,
it is.
the person
Right.
is Australian, I assume.
Okay,
So, but the only Australian in it, right?
right. I think they should be called Mickey something.
Mickey Danver.
Mickey Danver. Love it.
Right, Mickey Danver. The office clerk.
Desk-bound drone monkey.
Drone monkey, yeah, drone monkey, normal job. Everyone has a drone monkey job these days.
Everyone's got something related to automation. You're watching automated systems at work.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, no more real jobs anymore. Okay, Mickey Danver. Where in Australia does he live? You've got a choice of the northeast coast. There's places like Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast. I think Perth. No, Perth is west coast. Cairns up in the top right.
Right.
Further down the
Don't
coast,
know much about Australia, so
Sydney,
I'm relying on you.
Melbourne's in the bottom, and then Perth's way over
Well,
on
I'd
the
say one of the
west.
big cities makes sense for a desk flunky. Somebody who doesn't get out there in the real world.
Right. Okay. Well, I was in Brisbane recently, so Brisbane because I know a little bit about it.
Is it not pronounced Brisbane?
If only by lost American tourists. Hello, I'm looking for... No, I'm trying to do my Australian accent. How do we get back to American?
Oh, I'm looking for Brisbane.
Brisbane. I've just come from Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. And Leicestershire.
It's near London.
Yeah.
Okay, enough of American bashing. Get back to Australian bashing instead. What kind of life does this person lead, Mickey?
I think a loner clearly doesn't have a girlfriend or boyfriend.
To be honest, we could hot seat Mickey, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could, yeah.
Okay, you're Mickey Danver.
Hello, I'm Mickey Danver.
Oh, quite chirpy sounding.
I feel a little energy, around people, right? Not on the internet. He's just a nice, well-to-do.
right.
He seems like a well-to-do guy,
Okay,
right?
keeps his little secrets to himself.
Mows his lawns, owns his own little house.
Oh, the
right?
kind of guy who the neighbours would talk about in that sense.
Because he's on his own, but he's a single man, right?
Yes. Oh, he's a single guy. Okay. What does Mickey Danvers... What do you do in your free time, Mickey?
I stay at home mostly. I mow the lawn. I like to mow the lawn.
Yeah. Do you have a push mower or a ride-on mower?
Ride-on mower, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, and I like to look over the fence at people nearby and sort of go check on them and say, why are those children making so much mess in the garden nearby?
You're a bit of a busybody.
A little bit of a busybody. I don't like what other people do.
What do you do with your online time?
I mostly go on Reddit.
Yeah.
I really like Reddit.
What's a 2031 website you might visit as well?
I was on 2031. It's called 24chan.
24chan, excellent.
Right, where I post pictures of my penis.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm really angry at the world.
Who do you most like to troll? What kind of person do you troll? Who do you think needs taking down a peg or two?
Well, anybody who's got more stuff than me, anyone who's rich, anyone who's wealthy, anyone who looks attractive. I tend to get those.
Gotcha.
I don't like people with beards.
Can you not grow one?
Oh yes, maybe I think one of those little sort of
wispy
beards.
Oh, poor Mickey.
Yeah. So
family.
I'd say maybe he's got I can imagine him having a sister. Right, and maybe a sister and a brother, maybe quite a big family,
Yes.
three kids.
Maybe come from a rural area. Cause rural
and
Australians
they're
sometimes
really
have
well
big
adjusted.
families. Oh, like that, yeah.
And in fact,
maybe the rest of the Danver clan lives out on their farm property, and they farm and they live on the land, and they don't really worry about problems.
they visit, of course,
in the big city.
What's this character's name again?
Mickey Danvers.
Mickey.
Mickey Danvers.
So Mickey. They kind of visit him begrudgingly, you know, like
you got to do the
and then he
familial
gets the
duty.
meals on wheels. So every Sunday he goes maybe to the family meal,
Yeah.
right? You know, and he has to drive out of town to do that, and he hates driving. He's got supreme road rage.
I like that.
Yeah,
It's okay,
so-
a man quick to anger, perhaps.
Oh yeah, he's got an incredibly short temper, but it's more of a tantrum style temper than it is a violent style
Yes, a
temper.
childish, immature.
Very
tantrum.
childish. Gets angry at the smallest things and then seethes about it and then goes online and like writes angry blogs and tweets and future Snapchats.
Okay.
You know,
Just
whatever.
a couple more things before we move on. Physicality. What does he look like?
So physicality, I imagine I think at the beginning he's quite droopy.
Droopy. I like
right?
droopy.
Yeah, and sort of loose. Right,
Yeah, droopy and loose.
and just generally angry at the world and frightened of the world, uncomfortable in his own skin. Right, absolutely.
Any physically aggressive bone in his body?
Yeah, maybe in the sense that he's perhaps bullies people, because if he's a bit of a bully, online troll, right?
Mm-hmm.
How he might be a bit trolly with certain people, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe at his work, right? Anyone who bothers him in his job, he's just really short with them. If he gets any shit at work, he
Very
just shouts at them.
Petty, right?
Yeah.
Passive aggressive.
Very passive aggressive. I hate this character, by the way.
Okay, excellent. Well, hopefully he'll go through a good change.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing. Has he ever left Australia before? Has he ever left Brisbane before?
I think maybe he went to university somewhere else. Right, in a different country, at least outside of Brisbane.
Yeah.
Maybe in New Zealand.
Oh, wow, exotic. Yes, okay.
Not very far away. But, you know, or it could be Europe. It doesn't
I
really...
think Asia, because Australia is very Asian already.
That's a good point,
And maybe
yeah.
by 2031, Asia has more of a
Yeah, so maybe he
influence.
went to Hong Kong University.
I
Whatever.
like that, yeah. Hong Kong University.
Yeah.
Study.
Drones.
To study drones. Yeah, drone mechanics.
Oh, it's something like, like drone technology or, you know...
That's it, like a pretty low down degree.
Yeah, a technical qualification.
That's exactly it.
But he's really proud of it and thinks he's the total expert on anything
Yeah,
related
that's
to
it,
it.
yeah.
Right, and so he goes, actually, but in an Australian accent, so, actually, it works like this. The screws don't go in that way. It's just not how it works. You're just not program it right. God, don't you know that? How old are you? 5 years old?
Don't you know how to write a drone TX script? Okay.
I like this guy. I also hate him.
I hate this
Okay,
guy.
so we've got this character.
What throws him into this story?
So he's got to troll somebody horrendously. Maybe he trolls a celebrity, right? Somebody famous.
Yeah, I like that, yeah.
And this celebrity goes challenges him to the Jerusalem Brawl.
Okay, trolls a celeb. But would the celeb, put themselves in that danger?
Yes.
Wouldn't they have a proxy?
No. I think the point is he doesn't expect the celeb to do it. And the celebrity's not going to be a big buff guy either.
I thought you meant the celebrity challenges him.
Yeah, no, because he trolls the celebrity and the celebrity calls him out and says, come to the Jerusalem Brawl.
Yeah.
Right, and the celebrity's maybe a weedy comedian or something like that. Not a big guy. Right.
Okay, so in which case...
Both got to train against each other.
So in this case, then it sounds like you can choose whether to accept or not, right? I thought there was no choice.
Oh, no, but somebody has to call you out and you have to accept, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you can't say no. Or if you say no, you have to pay $1 million or
There's a
something.
fine or something, or something else
There's got to
happens
be
to
some
you, a
excuse, because of
forfeit.
course some people must be ill. Or,
Okay, but
have-
he actually... Why does he accept them? Because he doesn't have the money to pay the fine or to pay the punitive measure. Or...
Yeah, it's got to be worse than that. Why would he accept?
Because no one thinks anything of him in his...
Oh no, because he's always boasting online and going, "I'm actually really hardcore.
Yeah, that's it.
I know all these fucking.
I do martial arts.
I do Kung Chang Wow. Okay.
Kung Chang Wow.
And I can bend someone's face off. I can sidestep punches.
So
he's one of
maybe-
those guys who
Maybe he has a
bullshit.
small following of people online. Right? You're like, you got to do it right because you're gonna fuck this guy up, right?
So that's his troll gang. What are they?
His
What is troll gang
yes.
called? What is the sort of like gang of quasi?
The dangerous Danvers.
Yeah, the dangerous. Oh, I don't know because they wouldn't name it after him.
Okay. Oh no, he has to have an online.
It's got to be named
handle.
after the computer game they're in.
No,
too,
his
as well.
handle. Something to do with his handle, right? What's his online handle?
Oh yes.
Dark stuff.
Okay, it's got to be a bit rude as well.
Yeah.
So so
Dark Shaft.
Dark Shaft 63. Dark Shaft _63.
Okay. and his so his gang are like the Shafters or the Dark Shafters, something like that, right?
Yeah. The Dark Shaft, and they've all got Shaft in their names, right?
Okay.
So there's Blue Shaft.
Yes.
Okay, there's Blood Shaft.
Yes. Dark Shaft Jr.
Yeah. So basically, he's not going to do it. And they're like, oh, the celebrity challenge me. They're like, yeah, you've got to do it. You've got all those fucking Kung Chang Wow skills.
Yeah, Kung Fang Wow. Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Whatever, yeah, okay.
I never remember what it was called.
So he's like, shit, I got to do it, right?
Yeah. So he's forced into it by pride.
Also, I'd like there to be one more specifically personal reason to do it. Like, there's, in all his horrible, gritty, greasy life, the one shining light is like a girl he's into, right?
Of course.
And he really wants to impress her. She's like, oh, you've mentioned a few times your Kung Chang Wow skills, so I presume you'd be pretty good at this, right?
But maybe she doesn't even care about it,
exactly.
At all.
She probably doesn't even know him.
Yeah. Does she know her online? To make it even worse, he just flirts with her online, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because he does everything online.
Online, yeah.
And of course, he's obsessed with loads of girls at work, I imagine, but, don't go anywhere near him because he's a creep.
Let's figure out the antagonist. Is it simply going to be the celebrity? Or is it going to be a wider force at work?
I think it should be just the celebrity.
Okay.
And the celebrity, basically the celebrity, he's calling out the celebrity for being telling a stupid joke or doing something stupid, right? But this celebrity is basically better at calling him out.
And uses
actually
his comedy to make it
basically
amusing,
yeah. So let's talk about this guy. Is he Scottish?
Yeah. Is it even a man? Oh no, it has to be a man because it's men on men fighting.
It's got to be. We can't have
fighting.
man on woman fighting. I think that would be a terrible idea. So yeah, I'm leaning towards Scottish.
A Scottish comedian, Scottish shock comedian in the Frankie Boyle style.
Yes. Or what was the guy recently who did the pug with the Nazi salute? It's very controversial.
I seem to recall.
Count Dankula, there we go.
Oh, he's not a comedian, though. He's like an online...
YouTube comedian, there you go.
I don't think he's a comedian. I think he's an online right-wing nationalist.
No, I don't think he's just a comedian, as far as I'm aware. Okay. I don't think he's a right-wing nationalist, as far as I'm aware.
Right, fair enough. Maybe he is, but okay. So Scottish, let's not go too Scottish with the name, Hootie Muck. Dougie, that's a pretty standard Scottish name, right? Yeah. And it's kind of, I'm Dougie. That's Australian. Don't know why Dougie's Australian now. I'm Dougie.
Dougie Wexler.
Wexler.
It's not very Scottish.
Wix or Wex? Did you say Wex?
Let's go with Wexler.
Okay, Dougie
Wexler. So is he this kind of Scottish? How is he more or less kind of Scottish? Is he kind of light and
you
fun?
You ever notice how fat people are really fat and stupid? That kind of comedy.
Oh, so it's a kind of condescending, bit of a twat. You kind of smell bad.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Right. So he's a bit of a, when he's... Sneering comedian, that's right. And he kind of looks down on people, that's how he gets it, right? And he obviously looks down on himself. He's quite self-deprecating, I imagine.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's also not a big, strong guy either, so he's got to go through the montage too. Right, but
true.
He's got money behind him.
He's got the money, so he can have a personal trainer and probably some injections of some fight juice.
So where do they clash? Is it future Twitter?
I think there has to be more of a physical meeting throughout the story. When the antagonist reveals themselves, and then when they meet, maybe at a press conference they meet at some point. But we'll get to that as we go along. Let's jump into the story, and let's start at the beginning. Do we need a little bit of Mickey in his normal life before we really jump in? Maybe a little montage of its own of Mickey at work, passive aggressive with a colleague, at home.
Something's got to happen, and I think it's got to be immediately draw us into the story. So maybe it's it's to do with the motivation of the woman. So maybe he's at work and he's out. He bitches to some of the women at work, and he's all funny with them.
Yeah.
And then goes online and talks to this girl he's into. Right,
yeah.
And then starts trolling with his group.
I think also we need to bring in the tournament here. So it's a new tournament, a new thing. And he's like, he starts boasting about it to his online mates.
Yeah, I bet I
could do it, yeah. There are pussies out there who couldn't do it.
And talks about it to some of his colleagues as well, bitches about it, and say, God, anyone who enters this competition, man, I can easily do it, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I can easily do it.
Trolling people who he thinks couldn't, that Scottish comedian, Dougie Wexler.
Dougie Wexler can never do it.
He's a fat little cunt.
He shouldn't be coming over to Australia.
Yes, I think so. Dougie's got a tour in Australia.
He's always touring. In fact, he's more popular in Australia than he is in the UK. Right, he's one of those kind of people.
You couldn't make it back home, so you've got to come over here.
With your shit fucking Scottish comedy.
Yeah, and your pale Scottish face.
Yeah, and your fucking little tiny fucking dong.
That's it, yeah. So maybe I'd say, then, Dougie Wexler is touring Australia. And someone in the audience shouts out, have you heard of, this guy trolling you online? So it's like, I've heard of him, eh? And then someone shouts out, you should do it. You should fucking brawl with him. It's like, okay, challenges him. A live comedy thing on live television. Let's say it's being broadcast, and that's how our Mickey hears about it, right? Okay. So Mickey decides, yes, I'm gonna do it. How does he announce this, or how do you kind of communicate with the powers that be that yes, I accept, right? Some drone comes by with a message.
And missiles. So how does the celebrity communicate?
Well, he kind of informally announces it at the gig, kind of says, okay, I'll do that. And then, I guess...
so you're saying he shouts out, he's a heckler at the gig? You saying?
No, I think there's someone just suggesting it at the gig. No, Dougie brings it up as part of his bit. Part of his
he takes the piss out of this guy. And
you heard about this? Guy?
He heard about this guy who keeps trolling me, right?
Yeah,
he keeps trolling me, right? He does it like this.
Yeah.
He gets really mad at him, and he's like, yeah, he's only dumb, right? And all this kind of stuff. And then our Mickey sees it online and then gets a drone and it gets drones and starts following him, right? And
I was going to say,
takes it to a slightly higher level.
I was going to say, let's make it a bit easier, a bit tropier for ourselves. That this happens, and then Mickey wakes up the next morning to the press circus on his lawn, right? His nicely mown lawn that he cares about.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a classic way of moving a story forward. Like, something big has happened and now you are being thrust into the spotlight.
Yes.
The media is here. What are you going to do?
And he's just all this pressure around him, right? And people are asking, are you going to accept this challenge to the Jerusalem Brawl?
We heard you're a black belt in Kung Fu Wang.
And he's like, shit, right? And he's like, yes, of course I'll fight.
Okay.
And then goes back inside and is like, shit, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, maybe when he goes back inside, there's a little kind of bleep pop-up message from this girl he likes. Like, I've just seen you on the news. Is it true? Are you going to do this fight?
Wow.
Yeah, and then a little bit of attention. She's like, okay, this is a good reason to do it, even though he's nervous about it.
We should perhaps meet up afterwards, or meet up before.
Luck.
Yeah, I'd like to come and see your training.
Okay, so what happens next? What's the first stage? Obviously,
so we got to start the next step of the story, which
I kind of getting into the competition.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a representative of the Jerusalem Brawl who needs to come to Australia to see him. And it could be an interesting kind of minor.
No. I think it's much simpler than that. I think that maybe a representative comes, but he just has to go there now, right, to start the training.
A representative comes to take him to Jerusalem,
to take him to Jerusalem,
to the training pits.
Yeah, to the training pits of Jerusalem.
I think we need the person who comes to get him should be his kind of handler. They come to get him and they will deal with him all the way through,
and they'll find him the training stuff he needs, but they won't pay for it necessarily. But they bring him contact.
I think the tournament pays for things. It's within their interest because they get fighters.
Yeah.
So I think we need an Israeli handler who comes to get him and handles everything. Maybe let's get a woman in here.
Yeah, no problems. Yeah.
Okay.
And she maybe a obviously she's a trained fighter, right?
Yeah.
A professional. So maybe she's just his trainer, even.
Okay, handler / trainer. I like that. Yeah.
Just it's done, right? And she says, it says that you're a black belt in...
Kang Chang Wao.
Kang Chang Wao.
Yeah. It's like, forget that. I just want to learn everything from scratch here, right?
Yeah, so obviously...
do you get to maybe choose your fighting style? Or is it all Krav Maga? I think you can choose your fighting style.
Fight however you want, right?
Yeah, okay.
And she's the guide and she can obviously bring in other people if he needs other people, for
What's
Wang
her
Chang
name?
Wao.
We need an Israeli woman's name. I only know traditional, Jewish women's names like Ruth, Beth.
That's very Western.
Yes, they're not very Israeli. Let's make one up then.
Let's find a biblical name, that'll do.
Ooh. Okay, what's our biblical knowledge like? I think it's poor.
Infangrao, done.
That is awful. I'm vetoing Infangrao. It bears no resemblance to Israeli naming conventions.
What's an Israeli naming convention? Give me an example. Benjamin Netanyahu.
Benjamin Netanyahu is our only jumping off point, yes. Gal Gadot.
Abraham.
She's Israeli.
Gal Gadot, yeah.
Gadot. For some reason you do pronounce it.
Oh, is it Gadot?
It's not like the French star, yeah. Confused me. Or Gadot even, perhaps. Gal, but that's a bit, obviously, plagiaristic.
How about something like,
Wes.
Seluk.
Yeah, something made up, but it sounds, Middle Eastern enough.
Or do Selech.
Selach. Okay, Selach.
Selech.
I'm not going to know how to spell that.
Selech.
I'm going to put a KH to imply the ch.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Selach. Okay. So Selach comes to get him. And I guess there's a little bit of, excitement about the idea of travelling overseas, getting on whatever the 2031 version of a massive, passenger plane is. Maybe it's some massive solar power plane. I know it's not a massive point in the story, but I'm using my imagination.
Well, yeah, it's from Australia, unless it's like a whole cruise liner with like fighters on it.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a bit slower, right?
And then why would all these fighters be coming from Australia?
There's got to be a plane. Let's just make it a plane.
Get a plane.
Okay, so we make a super jet, so it's like the Return of Concorde.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. It flies up into the stratosphere, right?
Of course, yes.
That's what they are kind of looking at now. It's the
to make faster flights, yeah. Okay, I like that. So he's got to go on the Vomit Comet.
Yep, straight up, straight down.
And with Selech. Okay.
During the flight, obviously,
he's never been on a flight before. He's never been outside of Australia.
Probably not spent this much time in the...
So he vomits on the flight.
Yeah.
So this is one of his first challenges.
And he's not spent this much time in a real woman's company, other than his family, forever, probably.
Yeah. And she's obviously super out of his league.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need a little kind of conflict here, though. What's stopping him from doing... what's the goal at the moment for him? Get to the tournament, not...
what's he thinking? What's going on inside his head? I know nothing about fighting!
Yeah, the conflict...
So he's shitting.
Knowledge.
She's asking him loads of questions the whole time about his fighting style, and he's bullshitting, and he knows it. And you get those moments he has to go into the toilet.
And he knows she knows.
Yeah, and because he's on the plane as well while he's talking to her about it, he's being sick on the plane, and he's sick in his mind.
I like that.
Right, so there's a little bit of a double metaphor going on.
Yeah. And he checks in on his laptop, maybe, with his... fucking Danver gang, whatever they were called, the Dark Shaft gang. We're like, yeah, you can do it, man. Use your Wang Chang Cow and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll totally get them.
Yeah. And he's building up a massive following on the line. The pressure's building. And maybe even when they arrive, he's brought into the ring the first time, and she's like, show me what you can do.
I like that, yeah.
Right? And this is in Jerusalem.
Like, okay.
Of course, Jerusalem's now a mega city, by the way.
Yeah.
A super sick, modern mega city. It's no longer war-torn.
Jerusalem's not been that war-torn as much as a home of conflict itself.
Yeah. But the whole thing, just all
that's kind of gone away.
That's over.
It's a modern, progressive city, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I think, as you say, she gets him into ring ASAP to see what his abilities are, and obviously realises, okay, zero ability.
Yeah, but it's even better than that.
Yeah.
Because this happens. He gets this moment. He admits to her that he knows nothing.
Yeah.
And then, leaning on the ropes, is the Scottish comedian. He's going, I see.
Oh, no.
I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
I'll see you in the ring.
I like that. So and it's also a nice little early meeting with the antagonist.
Exactly.
Right?
So, I mean, let's perhaps sort of... So how does that? So after how's that first physical conversation go? Let's scene it out. So so what's Mickey's goal in this conversation?
Is to not give too much away and to come away looking
hard,
and not looking like the absolute spinal.
And so what's Dougie's goal?
It's to humiliate Mickey and to make himself feel like he's in control and he'll be the one he'll be the victor. To communicate himself as the victor, show himself.
Okay,
as the victor.
so do you want to be Dougie or shall I be Dougie?
I'll be Mickey. Probably easy to do Australian, right?
Okay, so I'll be Dougie. So, what's going on here? How's the fight going? It looks like you're showing off some skills here.
I'm playing my cards close to my chest, Dougie. I'm actually deliberately looking shit because I don't want you to see my fight moves. I don't want you to know how to. Kind of act against and react. So,
right. So you can do one of those, like 12-point palm exploding ear techniques or something.
I can do a triple flip kick, but I won't do it here. I don't want to embarrass you, Dougie, of course.
I want to be embarrassed. I know nothing.
My trainer, Selech, has told me not to give anything away. She's actually the top trainer. She said she wanted me particularly because she knows I'm a great Wing Chun Kao practitioner.
Well, don't beat me up too hard when we get in there, right? Tell you what. May the best man win, okay?
I'm gonna kill you, Dougie.
I'm sure you are.
Well, actually, that's a good point because it is to the death. So there's a lot more tension around their... What's the term for it? Around their rivalry than just a simple one of us will win, one of us will lose. One of us will die.
Yeah, I'm a beginner, right? I'm happy to say I'm a beginner, but I've got the best trainers.
Yes.
I've been paying them. I'm not learning Krav Maga personally. I've been learning a bit of Muay Thai, a little bit of boxing, a little bit of traditional wrestling, but I'm kind of shit at the moment, but my trainer's getting me on this excellent diet, and he's going to make me strong. We're doing press-ups every day. So how about you? What's your exercise regime? We might as well get to like each other before this fight starts, right?
Well, I reckon Mickey shares a look with Selleck, right, as if to say, like, what is my regime? What am I doing? And then it's like a case of, well, I'll probably go through the XT1 regime that's been a big popular one with the big fighters in the past. So yeah, you'll see me around, Dougie. You'll see me.
And so Dougie, I reckon, just like pokes him in the eye, right? And it says, in Scotland, we like to headbutt.
Did he headbutt
just a little sort of
and then walks off, right?
like
Okay.
with a strut. But again, he's still not quite a big guy, but he's just more prepared.
Okay,
does a
Mickey's
gentle
left with a
headbutt.
bleeding face.
Not a really hard.
Okay,
But
enough to be
enough to
embarrassing,
bleed, yeah.
especially in front of his hot trainer.
Yeah,
Right.
Who's again probably super tall as well. His trainer.
Yes, and I reckon
taller
the
than
trainer
him.
is very disappointed with him for having obviously no skills. So she sends him back to his lodgings, hotel, village, the athlete's village, wherever it may be, and we'll deal with this tomorrow. So I think there needs to be a little bit of aftermath from this first encounter with Dougie, right? Well, how does Mickey feel about this? What does he do? Maybe he goes out and gets drunk in the hotel lobby or something in public to drown his sorrows for being shit.
I think, but it probably just gets fucked up. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a good time to meet another ally.
Yeah, that would be
In
useful.
the bar, right?
Yeah, in the hotel bar. Yeah, I like that. Why would someone want to help shitty Mickey Danvers against this comedian?
Because, he's a poor kid who really doesn't know what he's getting into.
I think it needs to be something deeper, more connected to both the story and the antagonist of why someone would want to help him defeat Dougie. Maybe
Protagonist, I assume you mean.
help him defeat the antagonist. Help the protagonist defeat the
There we
antagonist,
go.
right? I think someone has to have a kind of a bone to pick, a very serious bone to pick with Dougie.
Well, maybe Dougie's the biggest troll, the most famous troll in
Really, as a
the world.
comedian, yeah.
Yeah. So
Maybe he said something really offensive about, someone's family member.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So he insulted some famous world leader or something ridiculous.
Yeah, okay.
And that world leader is needlessly petty, like everyone in this story, apparently.
Yeah, insecure. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe a dictator somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Like the Assad of some current Assad of some.
Yeah, some hardline fundamentalist from some regime somewhere who can't take any criticism.
Yeah, doesn't really matter. Yeah, just I like your classic small time dictator.
I like that.
Who's
And
a
it's-
puppet of Putin or America. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Who have they tasked or hired to, ally themselves with Mickey to help them? I'd like it if it was someone unconnected to the regime, so that they themselves can be a nicer person than dictators.
So again, it could be like we could take something like an Egyptian dictator. Then you could have because they have a connection with Britain. You could have a British boxer or something like that.
Someone they've
Who
hired.
knows very traditional fighting rules. Something like that.
I like that. Yeah, but also it's got to be someone who can help in more ways than just the fighting. Because obviously you've got Selleck who's going to train him.
Okay, so that's a good point. So maybe not on the fighting side. So maybe it's on the spiritual side.
I like that, preparing himself mentally for the fight. Yes.
So
I mean, he could still be a fighter. A retired fighter /
who's also a Buddhist monk.
Exactly,
Right,
yes.
some shit like that.
Or, in the far future 2031, some modern religion that they part of.
So sort of a modern combination of
Combat religion,
okay.
for this modern combative world
Yeah.
with blood sports, right? Okay, so the religion of the fist, shall we say?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. The
Or
way
cult
of the fist.
The way of the fist. Love it.
The Tao. That's what.
Okay, I'm gonna write this on a fresh piece of paper. So, new ally.
Yeah.
Let's think of where are they from? Do you say like a classic British boxer?
I like British.
From Manchester. Manchester produces a lot of world class
Yeah, but
boxers.
they've spent a lot of the time in the East and across the world traveling. Basically, they're one of those sort of one of those British people that never goes home to Britain.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
So a sort of international sort of person.
A well-travelled Mancunian ex-boxer.
Manchester. Can't get the
Manchester,
accent.
that was odd.
Yeah, because I'm
You're
stuck in the
going
Scottish and
original.
the Australian. They're sort of
Ex-boxer
jangling my voice box
and
around.
member of, what did we call it? It's the Way of the Fist.
The way of the fist.
Okay, the Way of the Fist. Where do we meet this new ally?
In the bar when he's freaking drunk, right?
Okay, scene in the bar.
So it's a really expensive, flashy top bar that he's got obviously free drinks at, he can have because he's one of the fighters. And basically the fighters get whatever food they want because one of them, it's like their last meal all the time.
Okay.
Every meal, so they can, and he's breaking all his dietary rules that Selech has given him.
Yes, these little printouts he's got.
Yeah, he's ignoring it all.
Is this more of a sequel than a scene, as a reaction to the previous disaster?
Yeah, this is exactly that, which is him being like his reaction. He's lost his dilemma. It's like, how can I beat this guy? Yeah, he's not a big fighter. He's a bigger troll than me. He's a better troll than me, right? He's also, so he's got better taunting, right? He's also just headbutted me.
Yes.
In front of everyone, in front of my trainer.
Probably some
and there's going to be cameras around.
Yeah, of course.
All over the world. He's embarrassed himself, and now he's in a bar getting drunk and sad about that because the cameras are on him probably now as well. Right, his whole life is being watched.
Yes.
Right.
And the dilemma is, I guess, what to do next.
And
how to recover from that.
And his dilemma is, fuck it and die, or sort his life out.
Or train with the possibility of dying in the fight.
But I feel like we should have sort of 3 options. And then you pick. So there's 2 options, and then you pick one that's that combines both.
But yes, something reasonable in the middle.
Like the classic third option. So you've got. So on one side is it's continuing the current way and just sack it off, try and quit. Give up. Don't worry, you're going to die anyway.
Yeah,
that's one. Obviously, they're not very positive. Or go into it super suicidally.
Yes.
Right, and don't and fight and bite and or some nice halfway house where you properly train and take it seriously.
Resignation that he's got to do something more than nothing, but still harbouring pessimistic views about his chances, right?
So what he starts, he was really drunk, and he starts acting out all the stuff he made up about Wing Chun Wow or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Drunk and like punching the wall and like headbutting himself on the wall and getting really depressed. And then this boxer sort of comes up to him in the bar while he's doing this crazy depressive stuff, and everyone's staring at him and takes him away.
Yeah.
Outside, maybe for a walk through the great flyways of New Jerusalem.
Yeah, I like that, yeah.
Or whatever.
Maybe, the highways and byways of New Jerusalem, and maybe, they look up and there are these massive buildings spanning posters of champion fighters. And, our Mancunian, who we haven't named yet, kind of like, you see all these people, what do they have in common? He's trying to get him to think so fight.
His name's Chaz.
Like Chaz?
For Charlie, obviously.
Yeah, Chaz Packet.
Chaz Packet.
Okay,
yeah, let's say it's the Northern Elbow.
Oh, is that his fight? That was his fight name, the Northern Elbow.
Right.
Okay, so Chaz takes him walking through New Jerusalem, like you see.
Slightly nasal. He talks like this, kind of.
From Manchester.
But apologies, Manchester. Our accent isn't entirely accurate.
That's all right, because Chaz has been around the world, so it's changed his accent.
Yeah. So this is an accurate Chaz accent,
like Christopher Lambert in Highlander. My accent.
So he's probably not actually got a very thick accent, so just a minor sort of.
You've gone Australian.
I don't know. All these accents get confusing me.
Once you have Australian, it's hard to avoid it again. Yeah.
Scottish and Australian are quite magnetic as accents. They're both. Oh, my name's Dougie, I'm a twat.
So we've got Aussie and Scottish, and then
sort of British, Mancunian. He's alright.
It's not a Mancunian accent either. I tried not to do that accent too many times. What is his philosophy? He's looking up at these posters. What does he say to Mickey to kind of give him some idea of a philosophy he can follow? The only thing that links all of these championship fighters together is not their strength, not their skills. It's their willingness to succeed, right?
So,
their bravery in the face of death.
Yeah, so, it's definitely a sense of bravery of some kind. He says in a Yorkshire accent.
But Chaz Packet.
But certainly, I think a sense of bravery, but also a sense of accepting what happens, right? Because he's a bit of a monk, right? He's part of this way.
And that works in nicely for some of the themes here, where Mickey's been behind a keyboard behind his whole life, really insulting people without any danger.
Yeah.
So the idea of being brave, facing your foes, and kind of standing up for yourself.
Yeah, basically, and taking the bad things as they come, and accepting the bad things.
Consequences.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
That's because that's going to have to be his lesson in the end, isn't it? Accepting the consequences of your actions.
Which is possibly going to be to die.
Yes, or to kill.
Yes, one of the...
Kill someone,
Is he going to kill Dougie,
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens when we get there.
Okay,
for all of us.
So he brings him out of this and sort of says,
you've been behind a keyboard your whole life. You've been hiding. You're a coward. What is it going to be?
Yeah, so and then he sort of shows him, you don't know any real fighting techniques, you know nothing. Show me your fighting techniques, and he just like gets him into a load of locks and elbows him and like, holds and chucks him on the floor and does all these little things. And
you know nothing.
You know nothing. But you know you can learn something if you put your mind to it.
You're a blank canvas.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you've got some advantage.
And then I've got what should happen at the end of this scene is. He should go, yeah, you can teach me, and then he turns around and he's vanished into the night.
That. Yeah,
right, so,
yeah.
you know, so this is a guy. This guy's kind of the mysterious stranger, you know, who just pops in now and again.
And he needs to be mysterious because obviously he does have mysterious motivations for doing this. He's helping the dictatorial Egyptian government.
Now I think we should go to the training montage.
I like that.
With Selech
and Chaz.
Well, yeah, maybe
Chaz trains him. You know, off the books.
I don't think Chaz comes to the arena.
Okay.
I think Chaz comes up at points in the story.
Yes, it kind
he
of
is
appears.
like a mentor or wizard.
Okay, I like that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So and disappears into the Jerusalem nights.
Okay.
So
in terms of the training montage, of course, at the beginning you've got to find it nigh on impossible, and it's all, I can't do it. It's so difficult. Doing
God,
things.
everything is shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
even though he gets to go home to this amazing apartment, and Selleck's giving him all the best free nutrients money can buy.
Complaining about how his life is brown.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And his life is changing from brown ever so slowly.
Yeah, but he doesn't want it to happen.
We need something positive then that gives him that little glimmer of this is what it's for, right?
Well, I think that's that moment. We've just had that moment, right?
Okay.
So what should happen? It should be training day. True training day begins, right?
Yeah.
And he watches some of the first qualifying matches.
Oh.
Right, and sees what it's really going to happen. And this is with Selech. Selech and him are in the audience, and these are some of the early qualifiers. And he's got to fight his first bout.
Yes.
You know.
And I like the idea. Well, are these qualifying bouts to the death? Or
I think maybe they're not qualifiers because, of course, they're all challenges. So he has to watch some of the other challenges.
Yeah, she's like, you see that? You see how that
and
guy's
these guys
doing?
are the same weight class as you guys, you know.
Yeah, they're all, the same level.
They're
of
fairly
ability.
weedy people.
Yeah.
They're not big guys. So, there's obviously people doing BJJ and all this kind of stuff, and well trained sort of little people and whatnot. So yeah, I like this. And some of them shit, some of them wear and watch. So he watches people be killed. So he watches his first fight. So who are the first fight between? Just a general sketch. What kind of people are these? What is the first fight like?
Good question. Two rival politicians who stood against each other. They stood against each other in an election somewhere.
And both lost.
But both lost to somebody else. But during that election, they did the classic smear campaign against each other. And they've said the most awful things about each other to the point where it was inevitable that it was going to get to the Jerusalem Brawl.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so it's just two. Where are the politicians from?
American politicians. Because they love their smears.
Yes, they like, yes. And there's all the adverts and stuff, and they got really mad at each other.
And they're so divisive in their party politics anyway.
Yeah.
Did one challenge the other, or is it a case of, like the public said, you guys have got to fight?
I kind of like the fact they were both pushed by the public, and it was kind of a joke by the public, but they sort of, the way that politicians are kind of can't back out of things that they've said. They have to go, of course I'll do it. Yes, of course. Yes. Yeah.
I like the idea that maybe they had a bet, where if whoever loses has to challenge somebody in the Jerusalem Brawl, but they both lose unexpectedly, so they both have to do it with each other. They both lose out, really.
Yes.
And there needs to be a kind of a style of the fight, Maybe it's in a weapon fight. Maybe some fights you can choose to have weapons if you want, if you both agree to it. So it's a weapon fight.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, what
with
kind?
Like cudgels and spiked clubs and what have you.
Like sai.
Yeah. Scythe.
Sai.
Oh.
The three-pronged forks.
Oh, right. It's sort of those like a garden...
Sai, S-I-I. S-A-I.
S-A-I, okay.
Sai.
Okay, so quite in close quarters.
Yeah.
Small
weapons, yeah.
And because it's Mickey's first time watching one of these, especially with his own eyes, like it quickly becomes gruesome for him, and he throws up again like he did in the plane. He's watching two people kind of stab each other and die. Maybe both the politicians end up bleeding out and they both die.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And that gives him an idea of, okay, so not only could one of us die, but both of us could die in my fight. So it might all be for nothing anyway.
I love that. I think it'd be lovely if, in fact, in that, so the one like pops the other's eye out with whatever stabby weapon they're using, with the sai or with the.
Oh God!
But doesn't quite, it's bleeding out, and while the other's doing that, it sort of like chokes him to death, the other one to death. So
yeah, okay.
They both die in this sort of pathetic wrestle bout.
Oh, and then both these limp, lifeless bodies sitting on the bloody sand or whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be then a kind of a change-up scene where after this there's some big event like a competitor's banquet or something, right? The press attend, all this current group of competitors in the next tournament attend. It's a big deal. You got to wear nice clothes, and maybe you're allowed to bring a +1, and maybe he asks Select, will you come with me? She's like, oh, you asked me on a date.
Yes, and
then maybe there's even a sign of possible attraction there, or she's slightly
well,
she
I think he thinks there's a sign of attraction.
Yes,
there isn't. Right?
She's just doing her job, really.
Yeah, she's just being a
but she
normal
does go with him.
Yeah, I think she goes with him because she kind of feels sorry for him. This pathetic guy. She's a well-meaning person, and maybe she's not used to so many sort of pathetic. She's seen these kind of pathetic people before and always wants to help them. Yeah. But never succeeds. But I don't think she's going to in any way attracted to him. I can't see it.
Okay,
I can't
fair
see
enough.
it. Yeah.
You never say never, but for now, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So they've got to go to this big banquet. Where is it held? In New Jerusalem?
Oh, yes. Where in New Jerusalem? Let's think of New Jerusalem and its districts. Okay.
Well,
it's got to be the top of some kind of mega skyscraper.
Oh, I like that. Yes, overlooking all of Jerusalem.
Yeah, right.
The penthouse.
So and it's in fact one of those proper. So there's a pool on top of the building. There's proper verandas.
That's it.
There's like a big food court. Yeah, and there's people funking around, being fashionable.
Wearing the fashions of 2031.
Yeah, and it's all on camera. It's all being filmed for posterity and all that kind of nonsense.
Now, obviously some conflict has to occur here. What is Mickey's goal at the banquet? Is it to not embarrass himself? Is there something more active as a goal?
Yeah, so
maybe to find out something about his opponent, perhaps get some information. There needs to be some clear goal.
I think it's got to be more personal. I don't see him. I think it's got. Well, who else is going to be at the banquet?
Maybe
Dougie.
Maybe the tournament at great expense flies out family and friends.
Yes, of both fighters,
right?
So it's both fighters' families around a big
table
my God. With their trainers and everything like that. So,
that's awful.
So they're all together.
Yeah.
And both families are like really traumatized by this, right? Because it's a new thing.
Of course, yeah.
Right. So they're all a bit like.
But everyone's expected to behave very properly, right?
So let's say Dougie's family are all like, we don't want you to do this, right? To the Scottish family, or Scottish. You shouldn't be doing this. It's childish and ridiculous. You shouldn't be fighting some troll.
The families actually agree.
Yeah, and so I think both families are like, you shouldn't be doing this. Why are you doing this crazy thing? So that's kind of the conflict, and yet they're kind of continuing to do it and stuff like that.
Okay. So I throw this at the cat if it'll stop scratching at the floor. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so big banquet. Mickey's goal is to maybe survive being with his family, who are telling him he should be doing this.
Yeah.
Kind of an embarrassment and bringing embarrassment because they're getting a lot of press attention back home, of course, because of it. So what's the conflict standing in that way? Well, the way his family behaves, right?
Yeah.
In a way, it sounds like this is kind of brings him and his rival closer together because both their families are against it.
And so they come. So this is maybe a moment of let's say it's roughly the midpoint of the story.
Yes.
So this is the moment where they sort of come to terms, where they sort of see each other for the first time.
Maybe they go away onto a veranda and have a quiet drink about it together, and it's a very kind of formally coldly cordial.
I think even better than that. So we got Mickey. He's just been a total asshole. Oh God, your family are dicks. I don't like you. And Dougie's just like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to kill you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you might kill me. He's just really, like solemn and
it's kind of actually
serious.
Brought it home to him.
So Dougie's really solemn and serious at this point. Mickey isn't at the beginning. He's just being the same asshole that he always is.
Maybe presuming that Dougie's working up to a joke. Oh, you're just joking, Dougie.
Yeah. You just got to rib on me again.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. No, I'm deadly serious, Mickey.
It's gonna happen, Mickey.
Both of us could die.
Do you want to die?
Yeah. And no going back, eh?
This is your chance. It's death. I learned to be a better person.
I love that, yeah. So the antagonist is actually kind of teaching him something here. Yeah. What's the disaster?
Okay, so...
Perhaps, this is just a spitballing here. Perhaps some tournament official kind of asks for silence and makes a big announcement that they're actually moving up
it's coming sooner. Yes.
Sooner than you expect,
because two of the competitors like died in a plane crash or died in some kind of tragic event first, or were ill.
Oh.
It just came down with like panic attacks in their fight. They're gonna have to, some kind of tragedy where people pulled out because the fights are so brutal.
I like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they couldn't pull out because you can't pull out, but they were forced out for some reason. They got massively injured in training, or in fact, one of the fighters in the bout before theirs got killed in training.
I like that. Yeah, killed in training. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So I think to end that scene then at the banquet, the disastrous news comes, and for all of their minute sharing of emotions for a second, the protag and the antag, we can split them up again by their different reactions to the news. So as soon as they hear the news, Dougie gets on his expensive, holophone and immediately starts calling even more expensive trainers.
Yes.
Like, right, I need to step it up. So he's like, fuck, Dougie can do that, what can I do? He's just got to go back to Sally.
Yeah. So, and there's just a little moment between them right at the end where Dougie, does the old punch gently on the shoulder, and say, see you in the ring.
Yeah, looks just like we're both in for it, eh?
May the best twat win.
Yes, I like that. So we get an idea that Dougie's also going through some changes as well. He's realising some things about himself. Yeah. Okay. What happens next then? What's the reaction? What's the sequel to this scene?
Well, I think literally it's the sequel is a panicked training montage.
Yes, and I think part of the training has to now include Selleck being more brutal with him. Like, I'm going to try and really badly hurt you.
Yes.
And you've got to try and not make that happen. And even more so because we're so close to the fight now, if I do badly hurt you, you're going to be fucked. So
yes, I love
time to fight, right?
Yeah.
Perhaps. Do we need to slip in a little mysterious Chaz moment before this or after this?
I think he's wandering home drunk from this party. So he's gone. So every time he's drunk, he meets Chaz, right?
And let's say also, maybe the real one of the disaster at the end of that scene then is actually in a drunken stupor, reacting to this bad news. He's going to fight sooner. He tries to kiss Selleck or something. He tries to get with her. Yeah. She totally, of course, rejects him. He's like, no. It's just my job to be nice to you.
You're
buddy.
a decent guy. I'm sure you will find a nice woman after this fight, but not.
Not me.
Never gonna happen.
So he goes out. Yeah, he gets even more drunk. Yeah. So he keeps meeting Chaz when he's drunk.
Here's the thing: is Chaz real? Right.
Yes, love that. Yeah, right. Okay.
We may never confirm or deny.
Okay, sure. Okay.
So he's wandering through the streets of Jerusalem back to his apartment, and he in the sort of that Fight Club scene. Right, where
I was thinking that, and then I thought what we could do instead is that Chaz gets him into a street fight.
Yeah,
kind of deliberately insults some people.
So
nearby.
maybe he meets. So Chaz sort of meets him on the streets again and just takes him up to some gang of Jerusalem roughs.
Yeah, that's exactly Jerusalem roughs.
Who are like, this is street Krav Maga. They're fighting back to the Krav Maga.
Yeah, okay, street Maga. Yeah, okay, love it.
And there's this just gang of roughs, and Chaz just walks up to one of them and just sort of punches them on the shoulder and go, that guy hates you, and just does his disappearing act.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's just Mickey, and he's just got to start applying the training he's used.
I love that, but actually he kind of because he comes out the victor, although bloody.
Oh no,
beaten.
he just gets brutalized at the beginning of the fight,
and then
starts breaking limbs and stuff like that. And sort of struggles out. Obviously, let's say it's a 3-on-1, right? And he uses the environment around him. He smashes someone with a brick.
I like that.
Strangles someone with a bit of barbed wire.
Because that's something Selleck's been trying to teach him when they've been watching fights. Yes. She's like, right, look at what's happening there. Yes. Look at the environment you see. Okay, like that.
Yeah.
I also like the consequence of that then is Selleck's reaction the next day of you're fucked, you're battered, you're bruised. We're going to have to spend at least 8 hours today putting you in the recovery tank, the heal tank, the med tank or something, right?
Yeah.
Where she's pissed with him. And he's pissed because she's pissed because he still fancies her, right?
Yeah. And she's awkward with him a little bit. You can see there's a little energy between them still. She's just.
But there's also got that little glimmer of the fact that she's kind of impressed. Okay, there is some hope. You went out, you didn't lose a fight, okay? You didn't die.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try and move it towards the climax, right?
I think that this is basically 8 hours before the climax.
I love it. Oh, right, okay, that's soon. That's why she's so pissed with him. Like, you've got out and broken yourself.
So you only get 4 hours in the heel tank when you really need 8. Right, you need 4 hours in the tank, the heel tank of the future.
Med tank, yeah.
Med tank. And then, you get, 2 hours sleep. Okay, and then we get up and we stretch. Okay,
yeah.
Stretch for the fight, right? And she has so we get up the next day and she's forced to do stretches and he's all bloody and bruised and covered in plasters and like his swellings all over his face, right? As he's getting and we're literally on the on the ring and all the build-ups happening, all the music. Maybe there's journalists firing
and there's
interviews.
Like Aussie press from back home, like our boy Mickey,
famous internet troll and wanker.
Yes, but now fighting.
Oh, and you know who else is there? A gang of his sort of ugly, sort of fat troll friends.
The Dark Shafters turn up.
The Dark Shafters turn up, right, with little signs.
Oh, that's cool. So maybe even they have a little
I think
art
they do.
for themselves where they learn not to be such cunts as well.
Yeah. So they get off 24chan.
They come and support their guy. I love that. And that gives them that little boost as well.
And
like,
maybe the original girl's there.
Oh. Yeah, interesting.
Right.
Okay.
And she's not Australian. Maybe let's say she's Chinese.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe he met her at Hong Kong University, right?
He met her at Hong Kong University. He has been, thinking about her voraciously for years.
Yeah, so maybe she's the only person who's ever seen below the veneer
Yeah, and she's probably into everything, she's probably, not into the fighting maybe, but is impressed by the change in him. She's not really a fighter. She's just a normal academic sort of person, maybe. Maybe she's just turned into some kind of successful or quasi-successul technologist or scientist or something like that.
Successful enough, yeah.
But not like uber successful, because she definitely wouldn't go for him.
Exactly, yeah. Only a couple of strata above him in society.
So she's there as well, and he notices her in the crowd, and he's sort of like, the pressure goes up, and he's just like, I've got to do this.
Yeah, and I think in the kind of that tunnel where sports people often wait before coming out, he's waiting there, and maybe there's like one lone security guard way in the distance at one end and another one at the other end. So for all intents and purposes, he's alone, and then poof, there's Chaz right next to him.
Suddenly next to him.
One last pep talk. What does Chaz say in that moment? Maybe he doesn't say anything. Maybe he just kind of... because it's the way of the fist. Maybe he just holds a fist and makes, Mickey held out his fist, and they just kind of push them together or something.
And they do a sort of nod.
Yes.
Yeah, and he says, it's just like... or just says something really simple like, don't be a douche or don't be a dick anymore.
He's like, whatever happens...
Yeah. You're better.
You've learned to be better, yeah.
Even if it involved beating up some street roughs.
Yeah, and even if it involves dying today, you'll die a better person than you live.
And in fact, in this moment, just as he's stepping out into the ring, he has to accept his own death. That's the heroic. Though, this feels like less the climax and kind of like more... Because really, it feels like the climax is the start of this situation. This is still kind of ordeal-y, but the ordeal and the climax need to run together because it's all the one fight. So the first bout... has to be an ordeal where it goes terribly and Dougie beats the crap out of him. Yeah, in the first fight. Right, just like in Rocky. Right, and he's got to put have a towel around his neck and all that kind of thing. So the first fight, they go eye to eye at the beginning, and Dougie just pulverizes him. Yeah, right? Okay. Right at the start of the fight, just super aggressive, like smashing him against the ropes. And whatnot. So what kind of fighting is Dougie doing? I imagine him quite aggressive.
Yes, I reckon he's had like an equivalent MMA training, an all-round stand-up, groundwork, clinch, grapple, kick, punch, elbow, knee,
throws and shit like that. Wrestling, yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I like
so all-round. Whereas. Mickey's gone with Select's traditional Krav Maga singular.
Yeah, okay. Eye poking.
Yeah, eye poking, gouging, hooking.
Using the environment to your advantage and shit like that. Yeah.
Okay. What environment do they fight in, by the way?
I'd say it's a fairly standard ring, but
I don't know. I like the idea they have like themed arenas.
Okay.
Like Mad Max style post-apocalyptic arena.
Oh, so maybe that they all have barbed wire, right? And they have things you can use. So like in traditional WWE or whatever, or WWF before they got sued.
No weapons
like
in this
things
fight,
like
but
chairs,
they get the environment. Barbed wire, maybe some like floor spikes,
some random bricks.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
just stuff lying around, so it just feels like a. So the idea is it's meant to be like a street fight.
Yeah, like a brawl. Indeed.
So they make a kind of quasi-fake street.
Ah, I love that. Right? Yeah, really controlled.
Really contrived
fight.
And controlled.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah.
So it's filmed with loads of like silly pomp and circumstance. loads of pyrotechnics happen at the start of the fight, and then obviously he comes out, and then Dougie comes out to much better music, of course. And they do the stare off, and then Dougie just comes in and just immediately wrestles him to the ground and pounds him down and chokes him out of the first bout, right?
Okay,
so what stops a bout if it's to the death? Why would a bout stop? Because I feel like we should have breaks.
Yeah, maybe only the final bout is to the death, let's say.
Okay.
Or rather, what stops a bout? Maybe it's a time thing.
Okay, so they fight for,
so maybe they're increasingly long bouts.
Yeah.
First bout's 2 minutes. If you don't kill each other in that,
then 5.
Yeah, then
10.
and then eventually, like the fifth wave is just infinite. You do not leave until one of you is dead.
So you get a little chance to get to learn your opponent. Is the
like
important
that,
thing.
yeah.
Some people get killed in the first round and stuff like that. Yeah.
And maybe some stagehands change the environment between bouts.
So let's have it literally the first 3 bouts. Dougie's railing on him,
absolutely
right?
railing on
destroying him, and he just can't keep up. He's always on the defensive, right? That's his problem. And the thing is, he's not accepting that he needs to use the defensive to his advantage,
Yes, but also I think in classic sports underdog tropology, it needs to be a turning point where he goes, I've got the power, and that could be either or the lady turning up or the dark shafters turning up, and he sees them walking into the.
So I think they're already there. They're already in the fight.
Well,
so no, because I think they're already going to be there, right? They're already going to be supporting. It's bizarre them just walking in.
Sure, but it's tropey.
Right. But here's how you do it. You have him literally punched to the ground, and like in the end of the third bout, he's just literally a bloody mess. Like the Punisher at the end of the first Punisher series, just a pile of meat and bruises. And just plonked in his chair, and either just one of the troll friends or the girlfriend just tops her and go, I don't want you to die, or something like that.
I
just comes up to him. Yeah, it's just somebody, whoever it is. I don't know. Maybe it should be this girl. Just for the tropey aspect. Just taps on his shoulder and says, I don't want you to die, and then he's just.
Yes, because maybe before these bouts, one last round of press interviews. And the press are like, especially the Aussie press back home, Mickey, what are you fighting for? And he goes, well, to be honest, I don't know if anyone, particularly cares if I live or die. And then she says, I care. I don't want you to die.
So he goes in, so it still starts the same way, but he does that thing that suddenly happens in movies when people, and just knows, instead of just thinking about doing stuff, he just starts doing it. So he goes for a punch, he takes the punch, and then he breaks his arm into a lock.
Oh my God,
and it just smashes him down on the floor. But it's not like Dougie's stopping. Dougie gets more aggressive,
of course,
as he does this, and he just gets more resourceful, picks up a brick or whatever, and just grinds it into Dougie's face, and they just get into this horrible smacking bout. So I guess a kind of BJJ-esque, where you're on the floor and you're your bodies are tangled together, and you're poking each other's eyes out.
Yeah, and you're trying to bend limbs where they shouldn't bend.
Yes. That's brutal.
Okay.
Yeah, and that gets the fight, and so they're wrestling, and they're looking in each other's eyes for this last.
Yeah, I reckon Dougie needs to say something to him before he dies. And maybe something quite magnanimous.
Maybe he just gives up. He just says, you beat me.
You need this. Yeah, you need this more than I.
Be less of a twat than I was.
That's all I ask. Yeah, because I like the idea that in the aftermath, maybe in the denouement, Mickey's learned that, to be a better person.
Does he kill him?
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah.
But in doing so, he kind of realises the fallacy of the tournament itself and the idea of solving our problems by causing more problems by killing people. Why not talk it out instead?
But here's the other side of that. He's also got the sense of he's sort of returned what it means to be a sort of real, proper human in our sort of evolution. That's where we come from, right? Is we come from people who fight each other to the death.
Okay, so he's at least maybe a satisfaction of having done it the proper way.
And he's horrified by that at the end, the fact that he became a monster at the end. And now he's a real monster, not the troll, fake sort of veneer monster he was. Now he knows what it means to really hurt somebody.
So there's like a dark, bitter sweetness to it.
Yeah, so he now knows what it means to really hurt somebody.
Yeah.
So he'll never troll again.
Oh, love that.
Do you see what I mean? Because he's actually killed someone with his hands.
Yeah, this is the most final terminal consequence.
So it's a horrible thing that he's done, and he was pushed and forced to do.
But it has helped him to learn.
But it's just made him realise that, okay, if people can die in horrible ways like this, I probably shouldn't be a dick to everyone online.
Yeah, okay.
There's the moral of the story, kids.
Now, the all-important name. You could go with the way of the fist, but it's a bit generic and it doesn't quite relate to maybe the lesson learned.
And the Krav Maga element.
Yeah. How about kill or cure?
Ooh.
You know, you're either killed or you're cured of your problems. It's also a well-known phrase.
Yeah, I kind of like kill or cure. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not
any
against it.
ideas from yourself?
Okay, so I almost like I like kill or something.
The punch factory.
The elbow factory.
Yeah,
The knee factory.
Maybe the Jerusalem Brawl.
Okay, I mean, yeah. Okay, or the first Jerusalem Brawl.
First Jerusalem Brawl. Yeah, but then it's not... The story isn't so much about the Jerusalem Brawl itself, it's about one person in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So...
Mickey and the Jerusalem Brawl.
No, it's all about internet trolling, right?
and learning consequences, right?
Yeah, so it's about being so I like sort of the kill or cure. Okay, so maybe we could sort of play around with that and sort of go, you know, troll or cure. You know,
kill or troll.
That's terrible.
Or just kill or be killed, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
Doesn't quite as explain the content as much.
Like kill or succeed, you know.
Yeah, the killing factory. That's kind of what the brawl is.
Yeah.
The kill equation.
Okay. Yes.
The kill cure.
The kill cure.
The killing cure.
Like the killing cure.
I like that.
Yeah, the killing cure. We got there.
Yeah, we got there.
The killing cure.
It sounds nonsensical. It's wonderful. But it also sounds like a story.
Wonderful. Shake hands.
Let me write it out.
Shake hands.
Pow!
Killing cure.
The killing...
Okay, so...
I wrote the killing story. The killing cure. Well done, Will. Okay,
So, thank you everyone for coming along. Would you like to kill someone who trolled you online?
Well, have you ever trolled people online? I know people who legit do it as like a fun hobby on the weekend, so... Have you ever done that? Do you know people who do that?
Yeah.
Do you have any interest in martial arts, fighting styles? Could you fight in a Jerusalem Brawl tournament to the death?
If somebody called you out in a Jerusalem Brawl, would you accept it? Or would you kill yourself rather than fight?
Love it. Now, the important stuff. Join us on thespeculationsstation.com. Join us on YouTube, Facebook. Be sure to like and subscribe. All those things which help us to be
Leave us a
better
review
people.
on iTunes, you bastards.
That's the way to get them.
Yeah.
And join us next time for another object, another story, and more speculation.
Station.
That's the name of the podcast.
Objects, stories, punching gloves.
Done.
Pew. Bye.
Next time, Gadget.
Speculation Station.